Hello everyone and welcome to From the Heart Friday with me, Jessica Brigden of JessBCreativeCardiology. Hello, hello. Happy Friday. We made it through another week. It has been a bit of a crazy week, so thank you so much for your well wishes and thoughts for my mom. I just thought I'd give you guys a little bit of an update. Unfortunately, on Tuesday, she had some episodes of dizziness, and so that's why I was not able to go live here Tuesday. I ended up taking her to the emergency room, and it was a good thing I did. She was having, her blood pressure was crazy high. It was 268 over something. Both numbers were high. Her heart rate was significantly low, which was supposed to be controlled by the pacemaker. That was the whole part of that first surgery. And after a whole bunch of testing, it was determined that one of the wires for the pacemaker, okay, I'm not a doctor. So the pacemaker goes in, there's two wires, and one of the wires had what they call a micro dislodgement, which meant it moved. And because it moved ever so slightly, it was not making the proper connection. It wasn't functioning as it should. So the doctor was able to make some adjustments with the pacemaker, turn up the current, so to speak. But unfortunately, that means she has to have another surgery. They have to go back in and remove that wire and put a new one in. All right, not a whole new pacemaker, but just a new wire. And so if we're going in, she's having that done on Monday. So we're gonna kind of start over. So she's home. We were able to bring her home later Tuesday evening. So she's home and she's we're trying to keep her rested and recovered so that she can be prepared for Monday. So that's the news. That's what's going on. So we're kind of taking things day by day. But I did receive my paper pumpkin kit, my fall for Toile paper pumpkin kit. I didn't expect it to arrive until this weekend or even Monday. My UPS tracking said it wouldn't be here till Monday, but it came early. So I'm excited. I'm calling this part one, because I have a bunch of projects to share with you. Hi, Luann. Yes, and you've been through a lot too. So happy healing to you as well. So hugs all around, paper hugs all around. And yeah, so this came in. I have a bunch of projects to share. However, due to last month's tech difficulty, I'm a little paranoid. I'm afraid that if I do a full long video with all of my projects and YouTube decides to cut out partway through, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show a handful of projects today, and then we'll do part two. I'm planning that for next Tuesday because the doctor did say mom should be in and out on Monday. They're planning to send her home same day. So if all goes well, then I will plan to do part two on Tuesday. All right, so let me show you the kit. Let me show you what it coordinates with, and let's make some cute cards. All right, so I've got my Mossy Meadow t-shirt on, so I'm generating a little, and you can see we've got the leaves. We have a red maple out here, and it's been, the weather is absolutely gorgeous. Another 70-degree sunny day, but it's been so dry that the leaves are falling already, and it's starting to feel like fall. So, all right, let's do some crafting here. All right, switch things around real quick. Okay, so I do have my catalog here opened to page 39. So this, in the mini catalog, this is the page that features the Autumn Toile Suite collection. And then you can see the different items in this suite here on pages 40 and 41. And so that, this is the coordinating product for the kit here. Now I did unwrap it. Oh, Luann says your heart procedures were same day surgery. So it is amazing. I know, thank goodness for doctors and nurses and all of the medical staff that respond so urgently when we need care. All right, so I didn't take it out yet of the wrapper, but I was really pleased, and I'm so excited for these little fox die cuts on here. We've got leaves and trees and all kinds of cute stuff, and the stamp set is really nice too. Let me see if you can see that. We have wishing you the happiest of days, thankful, warm wishes, thinking of you, some acorns, pumpkins, a whole bunch of leaves, and some geese flying through the sky there. All right, so, and then the ink spot here is Cajun Craze. All right, so let's go ahead and open the kit. Now I'm excited because this one does include some ribbon, some pecan pie ribbon in here. And, all right, a school bus going by. Okay, get everything out here. All right, oh, I guess I could have shown you this stamp case insert. There you go, so you can see what the words actually are. Okay, we've got our dimensionals and some glue dots, several strips here of the pecan pie ribbon. The envelopes are a nice little assortment. We've got the Cajun Craze, the pecan, and this orangey color. Is this a timid tiger? Okay, I did not realize that. Timid tiger in here. That's kind of a fun combination. I would not have thought to pair a timid tiger with those. All right, so let me tuck my envelopes aside. And then for our cards, we have the deer pattern. All right, so that is very similar. In the Autumn Toile paper pack, we have this pattern. All right, in espresso, vanilla and espresso that has the deer. All right, so this time we have it in the pecan. And we have some, all right, kind of a checked background here in espresso. We've got some cornrows here with the fence, the leaves here, and that fun, it's like a copper foil here. All right, even the die cut circles have that foil rim on them. And then this one is almost like a canvas. Just a slightly, it's not textured, but it's meant to look like that. Okay, these frames have the trees on them. Again, the foil theme is carried throughout. And then on this piece, we have the leaves. Somebody on I think it was on Stampin' Up's Paper Pumpkin page, somebody commented that their ribbon did not have the thankful. I think they thought that one of the cards, they thought this was ribbon. It's not. It's actually it's one of the pre-printed die cuts here. So we've got pumpkins, and that fox is the cutest. All right, so we've got 3 sheets of those. Okay, so that is everything we've got. Now, I did kind of, like I said, I've got all kinds of ideas, but I didn't come in here fully planned because my brain has been a little bit scattered this week. So we'll see what we can come up with. One of the things, so what I do have for my team each month, my creative cardiology team, I do a sweet sampler, a little sampler of products, and I had featured the Autumn Toile. So I gave them, they have an option to add this in if they want a team meeting packet. And so we've got pecan pie, mossy meadow, some gray granite, the Cajun Craze, and early espresso. So these are some of the products I thought would work really well here with our kit. We have some of these, what are they calling these? Some kind of, what are they calling them? Mixed dots, copper dots. Here we go. The package is called streaked dots. That's it. They do, it almost looks like swirled coffee on there. All right, and then this ribbon is really kind of neat. It's the irregular weave trim, but it has the texture, I keep calling it like loofah. If you've ever had one of those loofah bath sponges, it kind of has that texture, really kind of neat. So this way you can get a sample, you can see what the different patterns. All right, this is where they drew inspiration for the kit from the different paper patterns. All right, if you're looking to work with this or supplement your kit with the Autumn Toile collection here. And then of course the fox pattern here. All right, so and then some of the copper foil. So I thought I would just use, I had an extra one of these sweet samplers make and take packets left over. So I thought I would use that for, as inspiration for using our cards here. And I thought one of the things I would do is just a really simple layout, since we've got a couple of these card bases that are full, kind of full pattern here. I thought we could actually kind of cut some of them apart a little bit and do just a really simple layout using some of the patterns here. So what I think I will do first is let's do, let's see here. Let's do a pecan card base, okay? Just a half sheet of pecan pie. All right, 5.5 by 8.5. We'll go ahead and fold and score that. Okay, now I noticed on Stampin' Up's kit, the background on here is white. All right, the inside of the card is white. It is mentioned in the listings. There is also very vanilla. In fact, these two sheets use more very vanilla, whereas the pheasants here are more of a white. So you could interchange. You could use basic white or very vanilla, whichever you have on hand. Okay, so you might want to have a few, just to cut a few card inserts for yourself here so that you can mix and match. All right, so let's just go ahead and, I like to do this at the beginning because otherwise I make my card and then I forget, and then I go to write it out or sell it or, you know, give it away or something, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I've got to put inserts in these. So try to keep on top of that. All right, so what I thought I would do is take some of this espresso, and I'm going to create a contrasting layer to then use for my deer here. All right, so I'm gonna cut this one down. Let's go to 3 3/4 by 5, okay? So that I've got a little bit more of that border peeking through. Okay, so I'm gonna go to 3 3/4. All right, by 5. All right, so that gives me a 1/2 inch border as opposed to the traditional 1/4 inch, okay? And that way, when I do this, then I'm going to use my card base, my background here, and, well, actually I had a couple different things. I'm feeling inspired at the moment. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to make this a vertical, a portrait style. I was gonna do landscape. Let's go portrait style first. And then I'm gonna cut this down to size. So this was 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm gonna cut this layer at 3.5. Okay. And 3.5 by 4 3/4. Okay. So that these can layer together. All right, so you can start to see it take shape here. Okay. I need to replace my trimmer blade there. Okay, so layer these together. Here we go, let's do another one. All right, mount this on our card front. All right, so this way, by cutting the pecan pie card, all right, into sections, all right, we're gonna be able to stretch this kit a little bit further. All right, very vanilla on the inside. And I think my inspiration here at the moment, all right, I'm going to pull in the, all right, I get confused. There's two stamp sets and 2 dies that coordinate with this. There is the Amber Autumn, okay, that has the pumpkins and the acorns, and then the Autumn Trees, which has one deer, a stag here on the front, but this one has the little deer silhouette, and that's what I think would be really cute on this. So I want to use my little deer silhouette here. And actually, if I thought about it, I could have die cut that for my early espresso first, but I think what I'm going to do is, let's see here. All right, so the way the die works, okay, you can see it doesn't cut the bottom off. So wherever you place it, like however high up, that's how tall your die is going to be. So I think, let me just decide how wide I'd like my strip to be. I think about there is good. Okay, so I'm going to run my espresso here through my cut and emboss machine. All right, try to keep that straight. Okay, I'm gonna do that. And so I will have to trim off the end, but that's okay. All right, let's see here. Try not to make you dizzy while I run that through. Okay, so I pull this out. All right, looks good. Oh, you can even see the little texture on the deer. All right, so I said I would need to trim this off just a little bit because my paper is wider here than that. So what I'm going to do, let me just do this first. Okay, I'm gonna snip that off. Okay, and then I can put this in my, you can just use your scissors if you want your snips, but I thought it would be good. Let me put this in here, line it up at the 3 3/4. All right, and that way, actually I'm gonna go a little bit more. That way I can straighten out the ends. So trim that and then line this up again, 3 3/4, and just straighten up the ends there. All right, is that not the cutest little thing? So let's go ahead and do that. I think, oh, where do I want to put this? Oh, that's cute right down there, but I think I kind of like that. Let's do that right across the, let's go right across the front. All right, I'm going to, yeah, let's glue this flat. I don't want to add too much bulk. Come all the way to the end. All right, so we're gonna put this across the front. And then let's pull in a strip. Hi, Nancy, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All of everybody's prayers and well wishes, much appreciated. All right, let's go ahead and pull in some, this is my bin of basic weight scraps here. And I think, well, let's see how that might work. I would say this is like a 3/4 inch strip of basic white. And we could go narrow, we could cut it down to 1/2 inch, but I don't know. I think that might work. All right, so I'm gonna cut this to 3 3/4 as well. Okay. Alrighty, and then, okay, so I'm gonna use early espresso on this. You could use your Cajun Craze ink spot from your kit. I'm just gonna go with this early espresso thought here, and let's do that. Let's go with Thinking of You. Living out here in the country, I do have a lot of friends that love deer. We had, actually it's funny, while we were on vacation, well, a couple weeks ago now, we have a Blink, you know, one of those camera doorbell things, and we kept getting notifications like in the evening, and we're like, what is going on? Like, who's at our house? Nobody should be around here at this time. And it turns out that we had deer. We have apple trees in our front yard. And so the blink that we have on the front porch was picking up the motion of the deer coming through our yard to just kind of eat any apples. We don't, I mean, it's not quite, I know it is apple season. It's becoming apple season here in New York, but it's still a little early for the ones we have. And so, so we didn't have apples quite, yeah, just little baby ones, but the deer must be getting hungry. They were coming out for a munch already. So that's what was setting off our blink. All right, so let's go ahead and use, now this paper pumpkin kit, well, it came with ribbon and things. It did not come, came with some ribbon. It did not come with any embellishments. So I am gonna use these, what do we call them again? Streaked dots. And I had some already loose from my kit. Here we go. So let's use a couple of these and we can put them here on our card. Very simple here, but I love this kind of toile background, and this deer silhouette die is the prettiest. Yes, if I did order, I ordered 2 extras. One has already been claimed. So I do have 1 extra kit. If anybody would like it, just reach out to me. All right, so there's my first alternate, and we could stamp on the inside. We could put some little acorns or leaves, or if you do have the autumn trees, there is a, we could stamp the deer. Could stamp the deer on the inside. That's always kind of fun too, so that the inside and the outside coordinate. Okay. There we go. I like that. What do you guys think? So that's my first alternate project there for this autumn toile paper pumpkin kit. All right, now you guys know I have been dying to use the cute little foxes. All right, so what did I do with my kit here? I'm so excited. Use the little fox die cuts. So fun, love it. Okay, so let's go ahead and pair that. Of course, I have to pull in some of the fox paper. All right, love that. So I think what I might do, let's use this neutral background. All right, so we'll use one of the cards here from the kit. This is the one that has like it's like a canvas look to it. Thank you guys. All right, so we're gonna use this one as tradition here. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see what we want to do. I know I want to use this, and I do think it would be good. Use my early espresso again, do another layer. It's just nice to have a little bit of a contrast there. And I think I've got enough room on this piece to do another 3 3/4 chunk. I do. All right, that's perfect. So 3 3/4, and it's already, oh, it's a little bit short. So let's see, that's at 4 3/4. So let me see. I'm gonna have to go down to 3 1/2, just because you could go with that, but I like it to be evenly spaced around all edges. So we're gonna do that. 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, because that's what I trimmed my paper to. Okay, and let me throw away some of these scraps so I don't get too confused on what's going on here. Okay, so we'll use this piece here. All right, we're gonna use our little fox. And then, let's see here. How do I wanna do that? I'm trying to decide how I want to do this. Oh, that might be kind of cute. All right, let's take some basic white. All right, like I said, you can use basic white or very vanilla. And I want to cut, I want a 3¼ inch square. That's what I want. Okay, so pull in some scrap here. Let's go on this side. So we'll do 3¼ inch. Okay, and this 3¼ inch square is going to mount here on my early espresso layer. Okay. And then, let's see, it doesn't matter top or bottom, but if the little edges, scraggles bug you, okay, you can use a little, like a nail file or a sanding block, anything like that, or just kind of go like that and pick them off. Okay, so I want that at the top, and then I'm gonna cut my fox paper. Let's see here, I think I want to use, I want to use that nice, pretty, wishing you the happiest of days sentiment. All right, let's actually stamp it first, then we can get a visual. And if it makes you nervous stamping after you've already glued part of this together, then you could stamp first. My problem is I'm kind of thinking on the go, and then I think about things not always in the right order. So my brain sometimes jumps ahead. So I want to stamp my sentiment towards the left. Isn't that beautiful? I love the script, the font on that. All right, and then I want my little fox. So cute. All right, I want my fox, and I'm just gonna use a full-size dimensional here in his body. I'm gonna put my fox right here, and then it's, look at that, it comes right around. Let me make sure everything's straight. Okay, line them up nice and straight here. All right, so now I can see with my Autumn Toile fox paper that I want it to go to about here, which is approximately 2¾ inches. All right, so I want this to be 2¾ and 2¾ by 3¼ All right, and then that should fit right down here at the bottom. There we go. Okay, so just line it up. So you've got 1/4 inch on each side. That looks nice. Now, if you want, we could use some of, no, I don't like the pecan with that, but this textured ribbon, twine here, whatever this is, what am I calling this again? This is the irregular weave trim. All right, this looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna cut this just a little bit longer than the width, and we'll tape this behind. All right, here we go. Like I said, it's textured and it's kind of stiff, but when you go to apply it on a card, it does actually cooperates nicely. Okay, I have not tried to, I wouldn't tie it in a bow like you would a typical ribbon, because it's just not like that. But as far as just like applying a piece of it, it works really well. All right, let's place this right here on the front. And we'll use some more of our streaked dots. I'm sorry, I hear streaked dots. It just makes me think of like a streaker or something. It's just the funniest little thing. All right, so let's see here. Where do we want our, I want some dots on here. Let's do one there. And let's put one over here. All right, there is a bit of an angle there. Okay, and then we'll do a big one Oops, I took the glue dot right off it. All right, press that right into place. Here we go. Let's go down here, off to the side. All right, so we've got our 3 at angles. Yeah, yes, Luann, I know exactly what song you're talking about. My grandfather had the cassette tape of that. I think that was oh goodness, I don't even know, but yep. Look at that, look at that. All right, so I'm happy. These are coming out pretty cute. All right, so, and I'm so happy. I wish we could get a whole sheet just of the cute little fox die cuts. All right, let's see. We've got some of this checked pattern here. So let's see what we can do with this one. And I think I want to do like a combo here. So in the autumn toile paper, you do get, on one side you have the deer, on the other side you have the checked. So I think what we'll do, let's put this together. I think what we'll do, let's go ahead and let's see, what card bases do I have? I might need another piece of espresso. All right, that is a good neutral here to have with this kit. Some espresso cards, or even just a pack of the assorted neutrals would work really well. All right, so what I want to do, I want half of, no, you know what? I am gonna cut this down, but I want another piece of pecan at the same time. So let me do that. I'm gonna do a half sheet of the pecan. All right. So I'm gonna put this in here at the 5.5 mark. Okay, so 5.5 by 8.5. This will be my card base. Okay, this time I am going to do it as a landscape. Okay, you'll notice I did not put any basic white on the inside. It's already white in there, so that one doesn't need it. I do have one piece ready to go here. When I'm cutting card inserts, I try to just make up a whole bunch at a time and then keep them in a clear envelope on my desk. Oops. So that way I've got some ready to go. Okay, we're gonna cut this espresso down again. Same thing, I'm gonna go to 3 3/4 on here, 3 3/4 by 5. Okay. And then we're gonna do our deer. So that was 3 3/4, which means the next layer is 3.5. So I'm going to do 3.5. I'm gonna cut a square, 3.5 by 3.5. And I wanna make sure I get the deer. So I'm gonna cut on this side. Okay, 3.5 by 3.5. All right, so this is going to layer on there. And then we're going to use our card base here. All right, so I'm gonna cut this down. What I want is, I want a strip. So actually I only want like 1.5 inches. That'll be a good border. Okay, I'm gonna do 1.5. 1.5 by 3.5. All right, and then this will go right here alongside my deer. Okay, so let's start putting this together. I'm going to layer these onto our early espresso base first. All right, and then you can use either the jute or the pecan ribbon here. All right, we can see which one we want to use. So let's glue this on first. Okay. Although technically, I guess I could have used, I still have part of the card base, so I could have used this. So it's your call whether you pull in the autumn 12 paper or you use the other portion here of the kit for this, okay? And then a little section here from the card base. All right, and so we're gonna overlap that just a little bit. Okay, so we've got that same border, 1/4 of an inch border all the way around. All right, now before we glue it down, we will attach our ribbon. So what do you think? Do you want the irregular weave trim, or do we want a piece of the pecan grosgrain ribbon? All right, you guys, ooh, that would be kind of cool. Or we could layer them. Okay, what do you guys think? Do you want, I'm reading your comments, Luann, so I'm laughing. Do you want pecan, the weave, or both? All right, you guys let me know in the comments, pecan, weave, or both. And then what I'm gonna do, ooh, I need a place for my sentiment, and I was thinking of a punch. However, in our kit here, let me hold this aside. In our kit, we have, I'm trying to pull up some of these pieces so I know what I've got here. In the kit, we've got these pretty foil pieces. So I could do a little word, a little sentiment. Or a big one. All right, let me know if I should use one of these die cut circles or use my heartfelt hexagon punch for, and I'm going to pull in a little piece of vanilla. All right, so I'll have some options here. Let's take some vanilla with my heartfelt hexagon punch. Okay. All right, Luann says both. I think that's a good idea. I think that would be fun. All right, so let's put the grosgrain ribbon on first. So we'll apply our adhesive to the back. And we're gonna layer this over the seam. And you don't even have to cut it, it's the perfect length. So we'll go ahead and just layer that onto the back here, okay? And then let's take some of this. And again, I've still got some sticky there on the back. I'm gonna off-center it just a little bit. And then cut it here. All right, so this is how, so I've got the ribbon. I am gonna put a little adhesive there on top so that it helps hold it in place. So now that we've got that, we can glue it to the card front. Ooh, I'm liking that. Woohoo. Okay, so for our sentiment, we can put our heartfelt hexagon punch like right here, or we can do a die cut circle. I don't want to cover the deer, so that's why I don't want to put it. Otherwise, it would look nice there, but I want to make sure that we're not covering the deer. So what do you think? Should we do the vanilla punch, the large white circle, or let's see, we've got little circle. There's not a whole lot of room for any kind of words from that. Let's see. Or I've got a banner. So we could always put a banner on here. All right, we got 4 options. I could do a little banner kind of across the bottom. We could do like a little warm wishes or thinking of you. So let's see, we got some options here. What do you guys think we should do for the sentiment? Okay, and then these are your options. So we did a thinking of you. We've got wishing you the happiest of days. So I could do You could do the warm wishes right there, or the larger would fit on those. Or if we pull in the Amber Autumn stamp set here, we also have Autumn Wishes, and what's nice is even the font, all right, even the font matches. So we got Autumn Wishes, Thanks, and You're Simply the Best. I believe Thanks might be a little bit big, but I think that You're Simply the Best would fit on there too. Okay. All right, so while you guys are commenting on which punch we should use, I'm going to ink my deer stamp back up here and put a little espresso ink and put my deer back on the inside of my card. All right. Just pulling it all together. Okay. So what do you guys think? All right, let me show you what it looks like if we were to do the, I'm gonna do the Autumn Wishes here. Okay. And let's see here. Where'd my blocks go? All right, let's do an Autumn Wishes with the early espresso. Okay. All right, and if we do that, then this is what it would look like, and I would pop it up with some dimensionals. All right, where's my dimensionals? Here we go. Okay, so let's do this. So, all right, nobody seems to have a preference on here, so I'm gonna go with the Autumn Wishes, and I'm going to line the center points up there with the edge of the pecan ribbon here. Okay, and then I'm liking these streaked dots, streak. All right, so let's go ahead and, you know what, I think we'll just go like classic. I'm gonna put one right here, just like off center a little bit. And I think one might be, I think I kind of like one. I think that's kind of classy. So let's go with that. All right, there we go. So we've got a couple different designs here. All right, let's see, we need to use, all right, we've got a pumpkin die cut here. We have a thankful. Let's see. Okay, well, we got a leaf, so not quite ready for that yet. All right, let's see. So with that, we also have, all right, where did my pieces go? Here we go. We have our little cornrow background there, which is kind of fun. And the yellow in this is Darling Duckling. All right, I was gonna go with some Cajun Crate, Darling Duckling. This is really kind of interesting. The stamp colors here are listed on the back. Cajun Craze, Crumb Cake, Darling Duckling, Early Espresso, Pecan Pie, Timid Tiger. Oh, and they're calling it Chocolate Bronze. I said bronze, but this sounds more fun. Metallic Chocolate Bronze. Woohoo. All right. So metallic chocolate bronze. Let's see here. Where would we like to go? This kind of traditional, cute little pumpkins are kind of fun here on the edge. Let's pop them up with some dimensionals. All right, I do like that. This is kind of part of the original design here, but that works really well. So let's put cute little pumpkins over there. And then, let's see. Yeah, this really, it does work well. So let's go ahead. This is kind of a traditional. We can do one sort of normal here. All right, I do like too how they used the geese stamp here, flying through the sky. I have not heard any geese overhead yet. I guess I haven't really been listening too much, but that is one thing we always get here in New York. We always get the geese, and I have not heard them yet. So since I've got my espresso out, let's just go with that. All right, this is one, you might want to test it. All right, just make sure your geese are not upside down. All right, otherwise they look kind of like, well, I suppose it is sort of reversible, but they also kind of look like flying turtles, so. So just double check, all right, which direction you want them to fly. Okay, and then, oh yeah, I think we'll do this. This is kind of neat. It kind of balanced it out in the middle. All right, so it is a slight change. All right, ever so slight change to the original. Is that, all right, I just had the dimensionals in my hand. There they are. Put them down and I lost them already. All right. I think this is just quick and easy. I like that. Right in the middle. We'll just do I think that's even. Okay. I like that. And then we'll glue it down. You could dimensional the whole thing if you want, but there we go. Gluing that down. Here we are. Make it even. Super cute little fall card. I just like that. It is very quick and simple. All right, I did not use the fox on here. You could also add your fox, but I'm gonna hold off. All right, just very, very simple on there. And let me see, I did have an idea. All right, let's see this. So moving a couple things here. All right, so we've got these leaves. All right, I thought what I would do is we do have some of these chocolate foil, but in the Autumn Toile collection, if you love this chocolate foil, you can get a whole pack. So it's called the Earth Toned Metallic. This is brown. Chocolate, they should have put chocolate foil because that's so much. It's the exact same, okay? All right, it's that same metallic. And what you can do is that comes in 3 sheets. Usually with metallics, you get like 2 sheets. They've included three sheets for $7.50 there. So if you like that foil, and then I'm going to use the Amber Autumn dies here. Where did it go? Okay, the Amber Autumn, all right, has this nifty background die. Oh, check that out. All right, so what I'm gonna do is cut my foil piece here is already at 4x6. So I'm going to cut it down to 4 by 5.25. All right, I'm gonna trim it down so that it is card front size. All right, and then we're going to use our cut emboss. All right, we're gonna layer that piece on there. Place our die right in the center. Okay. Do our other piece. You gotta make sure it doesn't move. Okay. There we go. And then I'm gonna run this through. So I have a little snap, crackle, pop here. And I'm gonna reverse it as well, okay? Just because it is very detailed, but I've noticed that the foil paper is usually cut really nicely. Okay, you can see some of them are already starting to, the little pieces are popping out. Okay, so somewhere here, yes, I do have my take my pick tool, and let me put, I'm just gonna use this so that I can try to keep all the little doodads in one spot. Ooh, look at that. All right, just have a few little pieces to poke out, and they're coming out really nicely. All right. You can see, look how intricate this die is. It's amazing. All right, pop out the extra little pieces. Okay, so what I'm thinking with this. All right, and if you need help, flip out your spatula and put your pokey end in, okay? And then some of those pieces need just a little extra poke. There we go, poke, poke, poke. Okay. And one tiny little piece. Okay. All right, so now I can just take this over to my little trash bin. Okay. Not too much of a mess. That was pretty good. All right, so now I got this gorgeous background. Ooh, let's put that on this because it really pops, okay? So let's do that. We're going to adhere this, and all right, so they do give us glue dots. Depending on how much room you have, the mini dimensionals that are in here actually work really well too. I've got some that are already open. So I'm gonna do, of course I'm gonna do all four corners, but then I'm gonna come in and do a couple in the center. All right, just find kind of a wider spot, and then we'll come down the sides as well. Okay. And then I'm not gonna worry about the middle because when we do our sentiment piece, we'll use dimensionals and that'll help hold it all together. All right, so peel these backings off. Okay. And then place this, shake it off. There we go. Oh, that's so pretty. All right, so we're gonna do that. I'm going to use, I had some of those, yes. Use the large sentiment piece here from the paper pumpkin kit since it has that foil ring to match. All right, let's do that. I still have the wishing you the happiest of days on the block. So let's do that one. Okay, oh, so beautiful. All right, so we've got kind of a nice little monochromatic card going on here. Let's do dimensionals on that. All right, dimensionals. My other pieces disappeared. All right, let's see here. If you've got some minis, go ahead, use the edge pieces too. It works really, really well. Okay, and then all right, so I want to put this in the middle, but I do think let's make a little bit of color. I think that would be kind of fun. So let's see, let's overlap those a little bit and do that. So let's see, we're gonna take one piece, and like I said, I'm gonna put some dimensionals on here. All right, let's go with this. We'll do kind of a trio. And we're gonna use both pieces. We're gonna use 2 sets here of the leaves. Okay. All right, so let's do this. And we're gonna go, oh, let's kind of tuck them in. Oh, that's kind of cool. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll just kind of weave them in a little bit. Kind of weave them and overlap just a little bit. Here we go. I think we'll do that. Okay, and then this, yeah, right in the center. Do we need the ribbon? I don't know. I think I like it better without the ribbon. So I'm gonna just put this, let's use a couple of these. Because I feel like we've got kind of a blank spot over here. How does that look? Is that a little more, maybe we need another one. Make it a little more balanced. Okay. Do that. Yeah, kind of balance out that side. And then, all right, we'll do a third just to keep it consistent. And this one will poke out over here. Okay, and then I'll put this in the middle. Yeah, whew. What do you guys think? And my favorite little dots. Let's do, let's see. Yeah, let's just do a little dot. I think that, all right, I'm getting carried away. Let's see. 1, 2, and a big one that we'll put down here. Woo-wee, it's very blingy, very shiny, but I like it. All right, so I said I would do a handful. All right, I've got more ideas. Like I said, I will be back and share those on Tuesday, as long as everything goes well with my mom's surgery on Monday. All right, so this is what we came up with here for our autumn toile paper pumpkin alternates. All right, we pulled in the autumn tree deer silhouette for the first one. Fun little stamp on the inside. We used my favorite little fox, wishing you the happiest days. Okay. We did pulled in again some of the autumn toile, and we could have used the card base for this, but I did use the autumn toile designer paper, some of the checked pattern from the cards. All right, we combined the pecan pie ribbon that came with the kit with the irregular weave trim. All right, stamped our little deer on the inside. We have kind of the traditional fall corn base here, but we just did a simple thankful across the center. And then for our fifth, completing our handful, we pulled in the amber autumn leaf background with that chocolate copper, is it chocolate? Yes, chocolate bronze, excuse me, metallic chocolate bronze foil, or as the catalog boringly says, earth-toned metallic. But there we go. And again, pulling things together here with our streaked dots for some extra fun. If you enjoyed these projects in today's video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe if you haven't already. All right, feel free to share my video with your crafty friends. Encourage them to subscribe as well. And like I said, I do have one extra of the Fall for Toile paper pumpkin kit. So if anybody would like one of those, feel free to message me, send me an email. All right, and I can send you an invoice for that. There you go. So these are the first 5. Stay tuned. Come back on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. All right. Tune in on Tuesday for part 2. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy a weekend, a fabulous weekend. And we'll see you then. All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.